So, what is incredible about this is the first time since World War II, you're looking through a periscope of a United States submarine sinking I think it's a frigate of the Iranian Navy that was coming back from wargaming with the Indian Navy. And so it was a legitimate war target, and they torpedoed it. That's the first time we have sunk one of our submarines has sunk a military vessel of another country since World
This is
War
the
II.
stern? I don't
I
know if
think
that's
that's
the
the
bow or the
bow.
stern.
That's
I
the
can't
bow
tell.
because the torpedo blew up underneath the stern of the ship, and you can see it breaks the back and caused a catastrophic failure of the hull. But we have video that you can combine in post, combining the two, showing the hit. So here's the video of the submarine hitting it. Look at that. It just fucking breaks in half,
That's a big
basically.
boom.
So the torpedo blew up underneath the stern. It didn't hit the side of the ship. It blew up underneath it. And when that does, you get a giant pressure wave that just lifts the back up. It just literally tears the back half of the ship right off.
Jesus.
First time since World War II. And these torpedoes are way more lethal than what we used in World War II.
A big
I mean, it literally
boom.
just rips off the back half of the ship. That's why it sunk so fast, from the stern, and then why the bow was sticking out of the water.
Yeah, it's going straight down to the bottom.
Well, now it's a mini reef. Artificial reef. And so he's talking about how a lot of the people in Silicon Valley are like, hey, we're going to eliminate all white collar jobs. We're going to put all these people out of business, out of work. And a lot of them are leftists, so they're kind of anti government. And he's just basically saying, if you think for 1 second you're going to build this little walled garden and keep the government out, you're mistaken. The government's going to come and take your fucking platform.
Now you get to Silicon Valley. My one message for, and again, I don't, I'm without getting into specific people, or because I'm like, if Silicon Valley believes we are going to take away everyone's white collar job, meaning primarily Democratic shaped people whom I grew up with, highly educated people who went to elite schools or went to schools that are almost elite who vote for one party, and you're going to screw the military. If you don't think that's going to lead to nationalization of our technology, you're retarded. And you might be particularly retarded because you have a 160 IQ. But it's you. This is where that path is going. Now you get to Silicon Valley. My one message for
I love him. It's been one of my best stock investments the last few years. So we got ADP private payrolls jumped to 63,000, stronger than expected, and highest since November. So that looks good. And this is private payrolls. It's not government hiring. Because that was the thing when Joe Biden was president. The all the new jobs were government jobs. So this is actually private industry. So remember the terrorist attack from the weekend,
Yes.
where the guy shot up the bar in I think Austin, Texas, and he had like a sweatshirt that said "Property of Allah," and then underneath he had a T-shirt that had the Iranian flag on it, or the Mullah's flag, I should say. The police officers that shot and killed that guy are being charged by the district attorney with murder.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
How?
Well, I guess apparently, during all the defund the police stuff, they changed their laws to basically anytime a police officer is involved in a shooting, that a grand jury should get involved to decide whether or not to charge him. So
That's
imagine rolling out on patrol thinking, well, if I shoot this guy, I'm going to get brought up in front of a grand jury, and
You'd rather just almost let them just be.
yeah, just let him do whatever. That's pretty crazy. I mean, it was an obvious terrorist attack. They killed the guy, and the DA is now charging them with murder.
It's obscene.
I gotta say, Secretary Hegseth and General Kane, their news conferences, which are like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning every day, are really fucking good.
Can I play this?
Yep. Yeah, blow it up. See what he's got to say. He's talking about
President Trump is
radicalism.
all.
Ooh. You took it down by one? All right, I did.
President Trump has also been very consistent. Crazy regimes like Iran, hell bent on prophetic Islamist delusions, cannot have nuclear weapons. It's common sense.
Yep.
The subtitles threw me off for a second.
So, well, as James Lindsay says, he says the left has adopted the logic of totalitarianism called the friend-enemy distinction. That's a declared enemy of the West, the existing social and political order of things, and anyone who fights that declared enemy is a friend. And, in other words, that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend. The radical right also holds this criterion in politics and therefore also is siding with Iran. In fact, the term friend-enemy distinction was the explicit logic of the Nazi regime thanks to Carl Schmitt. The radical Islamists also hold this logic under their radical and hardlining interpretation of the Islamic doctrine called al-Wala or Walabara, which means loyalty of disavowal. The radical left calls this doctrine solidarity. The radical right calls it netter, no enemies to the right. So click on the image. So this is from the Communist Manifesto. In short, the communists everywhere support every revolutionary movement against the existing social and political order of things. And all these movements they bring to the front as the leading question in each, the property question, no matter what its degree of development at the time. Finally, they labor everywhere for the union and agreement of the democratic parties of all countries. The communists disdain to conceal their views and aims. They openly declare that their ends can be attained only by the forcible overthrow of all existing social conditions. Let the ruling classes tremble at a communistic revolution. The proletarians have nothing to lose but their chains. They have a world to win. Working men of all countries unite. So again, this is right out of the Communist Manifesto because we've talked about it. I wrote about it, Mastering Yourself. That was why the Iranian leftist, communist, collectivist, socialists all sided with the Islamists, and they even are retards in the United States side with the Islamists because they're against everything to do with America, the Constitution, land, the free, home of the brave, because they want to destroy it all and replace it with their communist utopia. And so these religious fanatics, they'll side with them because they look at them as like fellow revolutionaries. And mistakenly, they think they're going to be able to control them and share them after they gain power, which the Ayatollah fucking murdered them all in Iran. So that's where we're at.
It sounds like just it's good stuff for stupid people.
Yeah,
it's insane.
it
They're
is.
just stupid people like, oh, yes.
Oh, so this would be upsetting to the feminists. So here she's talking about women working in business and having, more control. And she says an effectively or brutally effective tactic in modern politics is women have a powerful evolutionary wired instinct to care for the helpless, and wokeness weaponizes it by framing every issue as protect the vulnerable, portrayed as helpless babies. She explains this caring impulse is glaringly Darwinian. Women see weakness and want to nurture. But when political causes are sold as care for the oppressed, that instinct kicks in, automatically shutting down debate. Minorities are babies. That's the deeper frame, and it works because the caring response overrides everything else. Andrews isn't denying the instinct's beauty. She's warning how easily it's hijacked. Brutal insight or uncomfortable truth. Men, ever noticed how protect the helpless framing ends discussion? Women, does the caring instinct explanation ring true or feel like a stretch?
And one of the most consistent psychological differences between men and women is women have a strong impulse of caring, right? Which is exactly, I'm not somebody who looks to evolutionary biology for the solutions to all human phenomena, but this particular one does seem glaringly Darwinian, right? That women see helpless things and they want to take care of them. That is definitely something that Darwin would find a pretty easy explanation for. But that's also something that wokeness can easily weaponize. It means that if you can frame your political issue as a way of caring for some helpless class, then you're golden, right?
Minorities of it.
That's right. But that is precisely what's going on at a deeper level, and that's why it's been so effective. And one of the most
What do you think about that?
It's true. It definitely makes sense. I mean, women are meant to nurture and have stuff, so
Yeah.
kind of just hijacks their system.
Ladies?
Especially if they have no babies themselves to look after it, their politics become their baby.
Yeah, that makes
Right.
sense.
There's nothing else to nurture and fight so passionately for.
Well, when you look at the videos with what's his name? The guy that Alex Jones interviewed, Aaron Russo, and he was talking about how he met one of the Rockefeller family, and they were saying, well, the whole reason why women's liberation and getting women to work was to get them out of the house. Because before, women stayed at home and took care of the kids and made sure they went to school and did their homework. But if you get them out of the house and you get them working, then basically the government can raise the kids and teach them whatever they want. And the parents, none the wiser, basically. And so they use the, women's need to nurture and take care of people to basically turn it into wokeness and get them to buy into all the woke ideology and globalize the intifada and all that other stupid bullshit.
It makes sense. It just makes them disconnected from everything too.
Yeah.
Because then they're also less close with their kids if they're not spending their time.
Yeah,
And
the
it costs
kids
more
have
money,
more
too.
allegiance to the government because the parents are no longer present.
It
or
breaks up the
involved.
nuclear family. Pretty
Yep.
much.
It even gets to the point where like women don't even want to have kids either.
Yeah.
And the woman's not even as close with their husband because then she's working all day too. Then and then
Y'all
they
men suck.
Mm-hmm.
They just want one thing. You can be anything you want. Go full boss girl. You don't need a man.